Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Spurs get another win. Welcome to the Spurs post-game reaction show with Shivam Patel. I'm a basketball analyst live here in San Antonio, Texas. A huge Spurs fan since a young age, and I'm just so pumped that the Spurs were able to win tonight. And thank you so much, everybody, for watching the show. Again, you can catch all the shows on the Patel Pick and Roll Sports Facebook channel and the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. And be sure to follow me on Facebook and like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can catch all the episodes of all my post-game reaction. But man, I'm so excited. The Spurs had a really nice win tonight against the Atlanta Hawks, who are a very high-quality team. They're one of the top 8 teams in the Eastern Conference, and it was a complete annihilation. I know the Hawks made it look better than it really was, but the Spurs completely just blew out the Hawks. They had a 39-point lead, 78-44 at halftime, and they just completely dominated from the second quarter on. And it was just such an impressive night for the San Antonio Spurs. You really saw that they really were able to put things together. Their defense was just outstanding. They did a great job of, Trae Young is the focal point for the Atlanta Hawks team. So every time he would go on a pick and roll, they would trap the pick and roll, try to get the ball out of his hands. And even when he did get the ball on the wing and he tried to drive, they would always send another help defender at him, so he need multiple bodies. Because he's not a big guy at all. He's like 5'11", if that. So they forced the ball out of his hands and forced the other players of the Hawks to make shots, which they struggled to do so. And it was just a masterful defensive plan by the San Antonio Spurs. And again, Spurs Nation, I would like to hear from y'all your reaction to this game, to this huge win, and it was in dominant fashion. So please put your comments in the chat section below, and they will appear live here on the show. So please continue to connect with me on the live chat. And thank you again so much for watching this Spurs post-game reaction show. Well, on the offensive end, the Spurs had 7 players in double digits, led by DeMar DeRozan, who had 23 points. He was really efficient. He did work in the second quarter, whether it's getting the ball at the top of the key, making a couple of mid-range shots, getting to the foul line. It's crazy how teams still go for his pump fake, and he's able to draw that foul, get to the basket, and, get other teammates involved. So he did all his work in the second quarter and allowed the Spurs to continue to push their lead. Jakob Poeltl, oh my God, he had a slow start to the season, but he had an awesome game today. 14 points, 12 rebounds, his second double-double of the season. He even had 4 blocks also. Block up Poeltl, as Bill Land on the broadcast says. And he was just erasing things at the rim, changing shots, forcing tough shots, from the Atlanta Hawks. On the offensive end, he's not a big man that likes to pick and pop. When he does the pick and roll with the guard, he just tacks the basket or rolls to the basket and gets the ball, and it has a nice little pop-up shot that he has. It's pretty smooth. It was nothing but net. So Jakob Poeltl made a big impact on both ends of the floor, and he had a really nice game. DeJounte Murray, who he's just money in the mid-range. He had a couple of nasty crossovers on a couple of the Hawks defenders, and he just gets to a spot also in the mid-range, and he's very confident. You see over the years that he's been really working on that shot. When he was a rookie, or even in his second year, he would hardly, be able to shoot the ball. He would struggle, but now he's more confident. His shooting mechanics look good. His stroke is picture worthy. So I think DeJounte Murray has had a fabulous season so far. And of course, he's going to get the pickpocket steals on the defensive end on the floor and start the Spurs fast break. So I would just love just the mentality of the Spurs. This is the first game of the rodeo road trip, and it's not an easy game at all. You have to go to Atlanta with the Hawks. I know they're missing 3 starters, but they still have Trae Young, who's going to be an all-star, and a lot of other talented players. So anytime you can go in the NBA and get a road win, it's just very impressive. And yes, go Spurs, go! And I've just been so impressed with the Spurs team. They're most likely going to go up in the rankings. They're right now 6th in the West, and they're just such a fun team to watch. They play fast. They get the rebound. They, push the ball ahead. They play with a lot of tempo. They share the ball. The ball movement today was excellent. They had 27 assists. And they shot 54% from the field, and they just made a bunch of three-pointers. It was just raining three-pointers in Atlanta, and the Spurs, don't expect them to shoot the ball this well in the future. But if they continue to, man, they're going to be really, really hard to stop. And each player is gaining, more and more confidence. And we got a couple of audience comments. Dylan is saying, "What do you think of Derek White in the starting rotation?" Yeah, I love Derek White in the starting rotation, Dylan, because Derek White has been out, due to injury. He played in that one game against the Lakers. He played in a couple of other games, against the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies. But he was still trying to get his, footing together. He was still a little rusty from injury. But I just love the versatility that he brings in the starting lineup. He's a great, backcourt mate with DeJounte Murray. They're both long. They're both athletic. They can both play defense. They're both big guards. And also DeJounte Murray really feeds off of Derek White. And you can see every time, he tries to drive to the basket and suck in the defense, he passes out to Derek White, who's basically money from three when he gets his feet set and his wide open. So Derek White brings a great offensive dimension and also a great defensive dimension, and he brings a toughness. He's not afraid to put his nose out there, get loose balls, get rebounds. He's just a team-oriented guy. So I love that Derek White is back. He's fully healthy, and he's contributing well with the Spurs. So great question, Dylan. And I look for him, to stay in the starting lineup, along with, Keldon Johnson, DeJounte Murray. Jakob Poeltl right now is starting also. And, bringing Lonnie off the bench, who will be more of an energy guy. So Derek White, he's been balling. And when he's healthy, we know that he's an all-star caliber player. So I think Derek White is going to continue to do great things down the road for the Spurs. And they need him to, because they signed him to that, big contract. Also, let's talk about Keldon Johnson. He in the first quarter, I loved his attack first mentality. A couple of games, in the past, he comes out, trying to shoot the ball, from three and mid range. But we all know, his bread and butter is attacking the basket, using that big body, using his size, using his physicality to get to his spots, to get to the rim, even draw fouls. So I love what Keldon Johnson was doing on the offensive end of the floor. Of course, on defense, he's a great, tenacious defender. He'll always give you those hustle plays. So major props to Keldon Johnson. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna play a quick clip of Keldon Johnson, who appeared on the Patel and Kumar show, another show that I co-host. It's in India's first and only live YouTube talk show. And we had Keldon Johnson yesterday as a guest, on the show. And we did a rapid fire with him where you'll be able to kind of learn more about his personal side and hear more about his personal side also. It was a great interview. Keldon Johnson's a great kid. We're going to play the first part of the interview right now on this show. And then we'll play the second part on the next show, which is going to be Sunday. So let's roll the tape of Keldon Johnson's first part on the Patel and Kumar show. Question for you, Keldon: PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
Nice. Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty?
Call of Duty, sure.
Go ahead, Mr. Kumar.
Headphones or boombox?
Ooh.
Boombox.
All right. Barbecue or Tex-Mex?
I'm gonna go with barbecue.
All right. So Keldon, I know with Rahul being your agent, you tried some Indian food. So what are some of your top favorite Indian foods that you tried?
I really don't know the names, but I feel like that Rahul and Miss Brittle, they really got me cultured. I feel like they have me trying a lot of different dishes. But I couldn't really pick out one.
He tried it all. I'll tell you, he'll eat everything. It's hard for him to pick a favorite when it comes to food.
Have you started cooking any Indian food yet?
No, not yet. I'm down to learn though. I feel like why not? I'll try it.
Soon, Keldon, you're going to be cooking Indian food for the entire Spurs team.
Hey, I'm saying this now. I'm probably like Gordon Ramsay when it comes to cooking. I'm pretty good at cooking.
Oh man! All right, Mr. Kumar, go ahead with the continue the rapid fire.
Yeah, pickup truck or sports car?
Pickup truck for sure.
All right. Windows up while driving or windows down?
Depending on the weather, but mostly windows down.
All right. As a Spurs fan, I got to ask you this, Keldon. What Spurs legend have you personally been inspired by?
All of them. I feel like
Good answer.
I mean, pick one. You know, like it's so many that had so many amazing careers, and they affected the game in so many different ways. You know.
Right.
So, who's the funniest Spurs player that you currently play with?
Drew Eubanks.
All right. Craziest rookie ritual you had to do last year?
Honestly, I didn't really even have to do anything like too crazy. I feel like I brought wings to the plane and a couple times, but other than that, it was nothing really crazy. Our vets were cool.
All right.
So, what's the funny nickname that you've been named yet?
The Mustang, big body. Roland, am I missing any?
Oh man, I mean, you got tornado, you got. Yeah, I think I heard the hurricane the other day. Like, I mean, you name it, right? He can shoot. I mean, you name it. He's got a bunch of.
So I hope everybody enjoyed that interview with Keldon, and I love that last question of what's the funniest, nickname, because Keldon has so many. Bill Land and Sean Elliott both call them, Mustang or Big Body, and he's just going to be a great player who has a bright future, and he's a great kid. And remember, if you want to watch the full interview, it's on the Patel and Kumar show, which I'm the co-host of. The show was on Thursday, but you can watch the episode on demand and Keldon's interview on the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and also follow the Patel Pick and Roll Sports Facebook channel. But Spurs Nation, go out and go vote for the All-Star team. Your favorite Spurs players, whether it's Keldon or anybody, LaMarcus or DeMar, any of the Spurs. Be sure to go out and vote. It's on NBA.com/all-star voting. And remember, the votes count twice, on February 13th, which is tomorrow, and February 16th. And then the voting ends February 16th. So let's represent our Spurs stars and get them in the All-Star game. So make sure you go out and vote online for the All-Star Spurs Nation, because DeMar DeRozan is one of those players that he's playing really well, and he's certainly deserving, of an All-Star spot. And Keldon Johnson and the young players, they're going to be up and coming and definitely be in contention, for the All-Star voting. So make sure go and vote online for the All-Star. Again, the votes count double on February 13th, which is tomorrow, and February 16th, and that's going to be the last day for voting. So make sure you go and vote. But again, just wrapping up, on this game, I think the Spurs really did a great job of. I liked how in the third quarter, they came out really strong. They had a big lead, a 39-point lead, but they didn't let off the gas. They continue to play a great defense. Show a lot of bodies at Trae Young, because he can go nuclear, and he can get hot really fast. So they really did a great job of holding him in check. And then on the offensive end, they still continue to make shots. They were aggressive, attacking the basket, and, really doing a great job with the ball movement and getting really good shots. And I think that was the key to allowing them to expand the lead. And you were able to rest the starters in the fourth quarter, which that's always a bonus. The NBA season, it's a 72-game season this year, so it's a lot more condensed with a lot more games coming more often. So anytime you could, have extra rest for your starters, it's a huge thing. Even though they're young, their legs can get tired. And you got to see the young guys. The young guys were able to show out in the fourth quarter. So I think it was just a great all-around game by the San Antonio Spurs. And again, please put your reaction, Spurs Nation, in the comment section below. And your chats and comments may appear live on the show. So let me know how you're feeling about tonight's victory. It's a huge step forward, for the Spurs, especially winning on the road, which is not easy to do, in the NBA. So as I wrap up, I wanted to give a quick preview of the next matchup for the Spurs, which the rodeo road trip continues Sunday night against the Charlotte Hornets. And the Charlotte Hornets ended up beating the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight. So the Charlotte Hornets are going to be a really tough team. Gordon Hayward, who got that big contract, with the Hornets, 4 years, $120 million, which we thought it was an overpay, but no, he's been balling out this year. He's a great all-around game, can score at all three levels. There's sensational rookie LaMelo Ball, who's right now the front runner for Rookie of the Year. They have an exciting young core also, with PJ Washington, Terry Rozier, so I think they're Devontae Graham. So the Hornets are going to be one of those young teams that's going to play fast, is going to be energetic, and it's going to be a tough game for the Spurs because the Hornets have been a lot better this year than everybody thought. So the Spurs continue to bring their A game, continue to play the way that they played for 3 quarters against the Hawks. Hopefully, they'll continue to make shots that will travel to Charlotte as they get on their next stop, for the rodeo road trip. But I think it all starts on the defensive end for the Spurs. If the Spurs can play solid defense and hold the Hornets to a low shooting percentage and get them out of the game, then the Spurs will be in great shape, for that game. And I think there's a game that the Spurs, can win, and they should win, going forward on Sunday night. And I will be back right after the game on Sunday to give my post-game reaction to what I saw. Again, you can watch it, on the Patel Pick and Roll Sports Facebook page, and be sure to follow that page, and the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube page, which you want to like, share, and subscribe. And Dylan is asking another question. Who do you think will guard LaMelo Ball? I think Dylan, DeJounte Murray has to guard him. But you can switch. I think DeJounte Murray will start out on LaMelo, but you have to throw multiple bodies at him. You may see DeJounte start, but then Derek White has some stretches where he's guarding LaMelo, and also Keldon Johnson. You have to put a lot of length on him because he's a pretty, tall and lanky kid who can see over the defense. And all 3 of those guys are physical. He's not a strong kid at all, being a rookie, a 19-year-old rookie at that. So you have to, make him feel you, be physical, get up into him, have good ball pressure, and force him to turn the ball over because he'll make some errant passes. He's a very showy player, but he does a great job of trying to get his teammates involved first. So look for him to come out and try to pass early and then find his own shot. So you just have to be ready, put a lot of length, put a lot of athleticism, be physical with him, make him work for every shot like you did, like the Spurs did, with Trae Young. And even if he does get up a shot, make sure it's contested and try to get the ball out of his hands as much as possible, him and Gordon Hayward. I think those are the main keys for the Spurs going forward. But again, to answer your question, Dylan, I think DeJounte is going to start, but you're going to see stretches where Keldon Johnson and Derek White and maybe even Lonnie Walker are going to have chances guarding him. And I think he's like the head of their snake. He's their point guard. He kind of he brings that swagger to the Hornets. So if he's playing confident and playing well and playing loose, then it feeds off to the rest of the team. So you have to cut off the head of the snake, and you have to do a great job of guarding Gordon Hayward because those are the keys, to beating the Charlotte Hornets. But again, I'll be back Sunday night right after the game to give my post-game reaction. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel, where again, you can watch the full interview with Keldon Johnson, which was on the Patel and Kumar show on Thursday, but you can watch that on the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. And be sure to subscribe also and follow the Patel Pick and Roll Sports Facebook page. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you everybody, for commenting, all the Spurs fans out there. And we should be pumped as Spurs fans. The Spurs got a nice win, and let's hope that continues on this rodeo road trip. Go Spurs, go. And everybody, I hope everybody's staying warm as it's a pretty chilly night here in San Antonio. And until then, we'll see you on Sunday.